Live, welcome to this is a live TV show. Welcome to Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BP TV studios. We almost didn't have a show, folks, but Devin made it. Thanks, Devin Shea. We got Tessa here and we got Ethan. So we got a full crowd in the control room. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Chip Hayner next to me, Smoking Jim Frazier, all duded up for Valentine's Day. I wanted to wish everybody happy Valentine's Day. I wore a red shirt here, red Pittsburgh Sportsline. That's the last you'll hear of Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you enjoyed your day, and we're going to talk some sports here. I got a couple things. First, I want to thank our pizza sponsor, Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Thanks for sponsoring our show. We appreciate it. Just ate that pizza. Thought we were leaving, so we saved some hoagie here. Smoking Jim will be nibbling on it. And we're on Verizon 32 all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and every point in between. Thanks for all of you watching, and thanks for shouting out during the last week or two. Met a lot of people that have been watching our show and are regulars the last few years, guys. So keep up the good work they keep telling us. So I guess we'll do that. And thanks for watching us, our loyal fan base on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. We appreciate every one of you. And then on Facebook, here we go, fellas. We hit a brand new high, 6,410. We're starting to creep up there.
Stay above the 64 mark.
Yeah, we hit that a month or two ago, and we're lingering around it. I don't know. Guess those haters were hating us for some reason, and now we got all the ones that are coming back. So what can you do? We're going to start our show with What's on Your Mind, and I got to ask Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Got a little breakfast on my mind, but but what's on my mind, Al Levine, the talking machine, is I tell you what.
Left the brother hanging.
Oh yeah, my fault. Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and if you want the green, you got to see Levine.
The wheels are falling off the bus.
I don't know what
I'm
happened.
gonna throw this one back to you myself. Good hands, man.
Wow.
Good hands.
I thought the train was
This
going
is
off the
about
tracks.
this is about our 275th show on the Tuesday night. So we've done that, and that's the first time you ever let me
This
hang.
is our first Valentine's Day show, man. That got me all mixed up. I just see Mariah Torres this afternoon. That's my Valentine.
A guest from our
Yeah,
show.
If I guess from our show.
And you were doing a show on PCTV 21 today with us.
and it was great to see her, and I tell you what, man. But hey, we're here now, and what's on my mind? Al Levine,
What is on your
talking
mind?
machines? A couple of things. You know, I try to be like Christopher Columbus and discover the white athletes. And now Levine, the talking machine again. I got to bring up my man, T.J. McConnell. T.J. McConnell is leading. Something went down the wrong way.
You need a drink.
Leading this.
Drink that Coca-Cola.
Leading the, yeah.
No, he didn't have enough. One cup won't do it.
Strain it. See?
That's it. Got a little leaf in me. But he's leading the Philadelphia 76ers. And again, this is a guy that comes from a basketball family.
My dad was good friends with Coach McConnell.
Your dad was good friends.
Coach's son.
Coach's son. He's probably the greatest WPIL player, one of the greatest for Chartiers Valley. Pitt didn't recruit him, and now he's a starter in the NBA in only a second year and leading the 76ers. Another white guy.
Hold on a second. I just noticed the phrase white a couple times. Okay. What's next?
I'm discovering a white athlete, man. Until I can get my white corner back in the NFL, I'm going to do a reality show, Al Levine, the talking machine. We're going to get you there.
Where?
White cornerbacks in the NFL. I don't like reverse discrimination. Hate it. So, Rick Barry. Most you guys know. I don't know if Devin Shea, you ever hear of Rick Barry? Devin Shea never heard of Rick Barry.
One of
Rick
the
Barry,
greatest foul shooters ever.
greatest foul shooter. Rick Barry is in the NBA Hall of Fame. Great scorer. Shot the ball underhand.
Underhanded. Yes, he did.
How about his son, college basketball
He's
player,
doing it
just
now,
broke a
too.
record, 38 in a row, free throws underhand. And for Rick Barry, used to try to work with Shaq and all these brothers that was under 50%, 60% free throw shooters,
They didn't listen to him.
but they didn't think it was sexy enough to go underhand. So I'm gonna ask you guys: do you think the coaches should make some of these guys who can't shoot foul shots 50%, 60% go underhand? But before, let that roll around in your noodle, as Myron Cope used to say. I have a trivia for you guys to think about. I'll give it to you later. The question is, who is Jack Spinks? That's the trivia for Black History Month trivia. Who is Jack Spinks? And I'll give that to you a little later.
Who's his daddy?
And that's what's on my mind.
Leon and Michael's father?
Close. Underhand.
That's why I said who's his daddy.
Underhand.
So
free
to speak
throw.
to your point, here's what you want to teach these young men how to raise their free throw shooting percentage.
Yes, sir.
Don't pay them hundreds of millions of dollars if they can't.
I like that. I like that. Wow.
He solved it.
Wow.
Whether you're white or black.
Yeah.
Pretty good on the dunk, though.
Well, pretty good on the
Work
dunk,
on that.
but you
They
know,
work on that.
if you're going to be a player, you have to be a complete player. You got to play in the NBA. You're supposed to be able to play offense and defense.
Can you imagine if you could raise Shaq's free throw shooting from 50% to say 80%? How many more points and how many more championships he would have had? Just a thought. Charles Barkley was pretty good on free throws.
Okay. Thanks, Jim Frazier. You were studying too much today. All right. What's on your mind, Chip Hayner?
Thank you, Alan. And beautiful day today. Wasn't it a gorgeous day here in Pittsburgh?
Wonderful.
It was even better in Bradenton, Florida today. Today was the first day of spring training. Pitchers and catchers had their first day of practice. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, spring is officially here. But what's on my mind today, I'm sitting here thinking about where were the Pittsburgh Pirates 10 years ago? You think about where the Pittsburgh Pirates were 10 years ago, and the Pittsburgh Pirates had 1 foot out the door and were close to leaving Pittsburgh, even though they
Would
had...
they win 57 games that year?
Well, that was in 2010. That was in 2010. That was in the last year of manager John Russell's.
Very exciting manager.
Oh my Lord!
High intensity.
I aired out my lungs almost every game I went to that year. It was embarrassing to sit through some of the games that I've sat through. But I'm a true Pirates fan. Whether they win, whether they lose, I'm going to support my hometown team.
On a side note, with John Russell, he wasn't a very exciting guy, but this is for Smoking Jim and a sweetie. He had a beautiful wife.
Wow.
Wouldn't know. If he showed as much excitement as he did in the dugout as he did at home, I'm sure it's his ex-wife.
You have to Google it to find out. I'm not sure.
Okay, so what's on my mind is I look back and I see where the Pirates were 10 years ago. And the reason why I bring this up is because I know I'm not going to make a lot of fans when I make this comment, but I am grateful that Bob Nutting took over managing control of the Pittsburgh Pirates when he did 10 years ago. And look what he has accomplished with a franchise that was failing, that had absolutely no talent in their minor league system, completely devoid of talent. They couldn't give away the players that they had playing in their minor league system. On the major league level, failures on all different accounts. Nutting bought the team off of Kevin McClatchy because he needed help making payroll. Okay, so now we fast forward to 10 years later, and what has Bob Nutting done for the Pittsburgh Pirates? He's made the Pirates relevant again. The Pirates have had 3 consecutive years where they went to the playoffs after 20 years out of the playoff picture. Last year was a bit of a down year. bit of a disappointment. But the Pirates team is poised to continue to compete this year and next year and moving forward in subsequent years. So, you know, a lot of people say Bob Nutting has no interest in winning. He doesn't care about the fans of Pittsburgh, and I think there isn't anybody that cares more about winning. He loves how far the team has come. He realizes they've got a ways to go yet. They haven't achieved their goal, but they're working towards it, which is great. Now, what has Bob Nutting done for the team? The payroll has more than doubled since he took over ownership of the team. For all the people that say he doesn't put any money back into the team, he's completely revamped the minor league system. Scouts, single A, double A, triple A. We now are stocked full of talent that other teams are coming knocking on the door asking us for. Actually, we've got major league talent that we have developed through our system that are on our major league roster, which is something that the Pirates were never able to do. What the Pirates always had done prior to Bob Nutting coming in as a managing partner of the team was they would overspend on washed up former stars and end up paying out millions of dollars to players that aren't even on the roster anymore. If you want to look at an example of a team like that, take a look at the Mets. The Mets are paying millions of dollars a year for people to not play the outfield for them. But they're in a market where they can absorb those kind of costs. We're not. So I'm thankful that Bob Nutting has taken over the team. I love the direction that the team's heading in. I'm very excited for this upcoming season, as I am with every season. Every spring it starts anew, and I always think that the Pirates are going to go all the way. We'll see what happens. It's going to be 6 or 8 months from now. We'll find out the answers to those questions. But I'm excited for Pittsburgh Pirates baseball. I'm grateful for the ownership and the management that we have with our team. And I'm loving life right now.
We'll leave it there with you, Chip, because I don't want to hear Smoking Jim and his negativity and excuses.
I can give the answer now. They ain't making the playoffs, but
Okay.
why wait 6 months?
What did I tell you, folks? The race card came out early. We covered that. Reverse discrimination he's against. But now he's an NFL scout, Steeler scout, not a Pirate scout. Although he did well last year with telling us they had trouble with their starting pitching.
20 out of 23 years I did well with the Pirates.
You didn't even know those years. You can't add your 2 cents when you didn't even have it in there. All right, let's move forward. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chip. Appreciate your excitement there. I'm a big baseball fan. I'm always optimistic. I'm optimistic they have a winning season this year.
I believe
That's
it's
all
gonna
I
happen.
could add to it.
I believe it's going to happen.
And we'll wait and see what happens there. Smoking Jim doesn't even count on this. He's working on his reverse discrimination case somehow on a reality TV show that'll never be seen on TV.
I'm going to make it happen.
Famous last words. I got a couple promos here. First, the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. I end each show with Stay Joey Strong. It shows Joey when he was younger without DIPG, and it shows him afterwards with the brain cancer that killed him before his 9th birthday. It's been 2 years since that. Check out their events they got coming up. They'll be having different things throughout the year. They got their 5K run and walk and other events coming out, including Halloween parties and you name it. And the students do a lot of special things for him in honor of Joey, so even some basketball games in the summer. So we'll go from there. Then I saw the Bethel Park Historical Society's Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. That's right on South Park Road, in corner of Park and South Park Road. And there's also a trolley that's there that they refinished and have it there. So if you drive by, that's where it's at. They're remodeling it. They got a great guy, Bill Hayberther, who's a wealth of information. He's going to do some TV shows on BPTV. Stay tuned. The show that he did's out there already, so it's a great thing. Donate $1 to this, couple dollars, more, whatever. If you have an IRA, if you want to dump some money there. They told me about this stuff. Then the BPCF, Bethel Park Community Foundation, they have money from $100 to $5,000. Get your application online, apply for a grant, help the kids and group that you're sponsoring here in the area and you need funds for, and we'll vote on it. I'm a trustee on the board. Check it out. You can make attention to Dan Duff, who's the president, And it's a great organization. It puts out plenty of money in the community. So they do a lot of great things here in Bethel Park. That's Bethel Park Community Foundation. Check it out. All right, what's on my mind? We did boxing on the 4th, February 4th at the Bronson House. It's a historical venue, Bronson House Boxing Club. We appreciate Jack Conway, all his fighters. Skeets Lewandowski, our man, helps out there, do all kind of great things. We were honored to not only film, but to announce it. Now, we did part 1 and part 2. I put it up online, so it's out there. There were 15 fights. What went from an hour that we thought was 7 fights or so was about 4 hours. Had a great time. A lot of great young boxers are getting ready for Golden Gloves. Some of them have been on our show. You have to check it out, but they're up online. You have to see it. I posted up on Skeet's page, so you can check it out. I'll put it on Pittsburgh Sportsline, and it'll be on TV maybe as soon as Saturday night. So there might be late night Saturday night fights with Smoking Jim's the play-by-play guy, and I'm the color guy, and I tried to add some color to it, although it was a little difficult at times.
Oh, that's a horse of a different color.
I thought I'd put it out
I
there.
thought race didn't have anything to do with it.
No. We're still looking into some things here, so we'll get those answers, just like James Spinks. We'll try to find out who he is. But that's what's on my mind. Check out the boxing. Two parts, and it's about 4 hours of boxing, so check it out. A lot of great shots there. So, all right, now we're going to go to a break, and we'll come back with our segments of Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, Chip's Trivia Pursuit. It's going to be there and on location with Al Levine. So we'll check that out in a couple minutes. Don't change that dial. Chief, you know I always tell you, have that dessert now. Go up and get it. And stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, Bethel Park. Remember me? My name is Jason Planitzer. I was the host of a little show here. You may have seen it. It was called The Jason Planitzer Show.
What would you say your experience at BPTV, how has that had an impact on your life?
I found my voice. I learned how to be funny. I learned how to create things. I learned how to collaborate with people here. I developed an interest in film and comedy and making videos. It stuck with me. It continued through my life. I got into working on motion pictures. I now I'll produce small videos. I'll work with producers on commercials, television projects, feature films. I scout locations on TV shows and movies, which involves me reading scripts, finding the locations that need to be shot, and collaborating with the director and production designer to find the perfect spot. It all started at BPTV for me.
Look for the book.
Such a pro.
Welcome back. We have Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, in honor of Black History Month, for Valentine's Day tonight, I'm gonna crack some ribs open over on the Hill District, maybe in Homewood. But
What's that have to do with what you're going to say?
soul food for Valentine's Day dinner. But
You just ate dinner.
I had ribs for dinner.
there you go.
Ribs
That's
and
right.
rice.
That's how you supposed. You get some greens and some black eyed peas
Well,
and some
I had
cornbread.
to settle for broccoli,
All
but
right.
you know, I mean, it was great.
That was green.
Yes, next year we got to step up your Black History Month
It won't,
menu.
we won't be doing our
We'll
show.
get some collard greens
No.
with a ham hock.
Black History
Why
Month
don't you
menu.
bring-
That's it.
Why don't you bring them in like you cook them up for Thanksgiving?
I got people that do the cooking at Thanksgiving. I can't cook.
Well, maybe your people can make them and put them in a container for you.
I tell you what, I'll go next year for Black History Month. I'll go to a soul food restaurant and bring some
do you know where they?
samples
Do you
in
know where they even are?
in the hood.
Red
Do you know
beans
where
and
they're
rice.
at?
Some red beans and rice.
Every hood I can't go to, but some hoods they still allow me in.
I'll take the green beans.
How about greens, mustard,
Yeah.
collards?
Both.
Give you a helping of beach. A helping of
Here we
beach.
go. Me
Now
and
that we
Dick.
got that, okay, Chip, are you ready?
No, I don't want no chitlins though.
Well, Ellen Levine and Talking Machine and I may be booking Perry Kemp on the show, and Perry Kemp played for the Green Bay Packers, and when he
Who
was
suggested that?
our guy Coach
John
Smith.
John Smith.
And when Perry Kemp retired, he played wide receiver with Magikowski and Sterling Sharp. They had a pretty good offense. And
The Magic Man.
when he left Green Bay, he was the fourth all-time leading receiver in Green Bay Packer history. All his records got wiped out by now. They had
It's
some
a
tremendous.
passing
Well, after the
Tremendous
Magic Man
passing.
left, that's when Brett
Brett
Favre.
Favre came in. Magic Man got hurt. Brett Favre,
Brett
stepped
Favre
in.
didn't miss a game for another 2 decades.
And Ray Kemp, his brother, will also be a guest on the show. And Ray Kemp was the fullback, Tony Dorse's fullback on the 1976 Pitt National Championship football team. And their grandfather, Ray Kemp, for Black History Month, was the first black player to ever play for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1933.
Wow.
Now, there was a ban placed on black players from 1930 for the NFL from 1934 through 1948. So Ray Kemp's career was only 1 year. He was banned from playing in the National Football League because of his color. But once the NFL ban was lifted, how about Jack Spinks? 1952 was the first black ever drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Elkhorn State. That's where Air McNair played football. And if you go to Elkhorn State right now, the stadium is named after Jack Spinks. So that's a little Pittsburgh Steeler history for you. Here's a little bit more.
Whoa.
Joe Gilliam, one of the first starting black quarterbacks in the National Football League, 1974. How about Bill Nunn?
Yeah.
One of
Legendary.
the first, if not the first, full-time NFL scout in National Football League history. And finally, Tony Dungy won 2 Super Bowl championships with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Was under Chuck Noll, was the first coordinator, black coordinator in NFL history. And here's this. Last year became the first black coach inducted into the National Football League Hall of Fame, even though I don't think he deserved it. I love Tony. Hope you don't get mad at me like
Thanks
a lot
for
of you other
repeating that,
brother
'cause
coaches.
You come out and said he didn't deserve
He
it.
didn't deserve to go in, but he's in there now. They ain't going to take him out. Congratulations, Tony Dungy and all the others, including Jack Spinks and Ray Kemp, for their Black history contribution to the Pittsburgh
And
Steelers.
who were Jack Spinks' sons?
I don't know if the Leon
I'm
Spinks
teasing.
boys was his son.
And a lot of people don't remember, but in the 1974 season,
I
the
don't.
first 4 games of the year, Joe Gilliam had beat Terry Bradshaw for the starting quarterback's job.
First 6.
Unfortunately for Joe, he had some demons,
Yeah.
and they were his downfall.
Cocaine.
And
Drugs.
had he been able to keep himself clean, maybe
Was
Terry
actually-
Bradshaw wouldn't be on Fox right
It was
now.
actually the first 6 games. Joe Gilliam was 4-1-1.
I thought you were in diapers.
Yeah, well, I'm a historian. Joe Gilliam was 4-1-1 when they threatened to blow up the stadium if they didn't get that black quarterback out of there. And because
One person said it. Come on.
well, there was a
They
lot.
were on the Hill talking about that.
Can you believe that was not that long ago?
No,
You know?
it wasn't.
70s.
40,
And Joe-
43 years ago.
And they say that's what drove Gilliam to drugs. He just couldn't take not being a starting quarterback, and he wandered a little bit too far on the north side. Can't go too far past Manchester over there.
He must have been at the Garden Theater.
How do you even know this stuff, Smoking Jim?
Got the taste of smack and never could get off of it.
Couldn't come back.
But Jack Ham to this day says that Joe Gilliam was the best quarterback he's
Jefferson
ever seen.
Street Joe.
Yeah, to me, Bradshaw.
He had a
was
stronger
this
arm
great-
than Bradford.
No! I don't know about. I've never seen a stronger arm than Bradshaw. Maybe Elway, but he had a quicker release and he probably could throw it just as far. But Bradshaw could break your webbings of your finger, man. So what if you're 5 yards away? You had to be a man to catch Bradshaw's pass. But Joe Gilliam had
Thanks
it all.
for that extra trivia, guys.
Yeah, he had it all. and he-
Appreciate it.
But one last Joe Gilliam. Sorry about that. Joe Gilliam played for the Pittsburgh Wolfpack and won the national championship for him. And
What year?
passed for a bunch of yards. And then he went to the USFL for the Memphis Showboats at 40 years old and was a starting quarterback there for a year and a half. So just show the talent.
All before he died. All before he
even
died.
high up.
And who-
He was high up all the way
And
to
what
his
Hall of
death.
Famer played with the Memphis Showboats? Reggie White?
Is that where Reggie
Right,
played? That's right. Reggie
Re-
White played
Re-
for the Memphis
He
Showboats.
he
in the
played. He
USFL.
played at Tennessee, didn't he?
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah,
volunteer.
yeah. So he played in Memphis before he came to the NFL.
Reggie White played at Tennessee with a friend of the show, Mark Hogan.
Get out.
Yeah, Mark Hogan.
Wow.
Mark Hogan played. What's that fast wide receiver that played for the Chicago Bears?
Willie Galt.
Willie Galt. Good job. They ran track together. Mark Hogan played football,
Yeah, he
ran
was-
track. Willie Galt. How about the white special team
Oh, you brought
player
that
for the
Cowboy.
Dallas Cowboys? Could
Billy
hit.
Bates.
Billy Bates. They were all played together on that team. You the man! Yes, I love it. Billy Bates, hard-hitting guy. Billy Bates claimed the frame. The first game that Herschel Walker started was
knocked him
against
out.
Tennessee. Billy Bates come up one-on-one, and Billy Bates could knock it. He could stop a trade. Couldn't stop Herschel that day. Ran him right over for a touchdown.
Great extra trivia, Smoking Jim.
Oh, man, thanks to Chip.
Yeah, you got it. We have some graphics here, and I'm not sure what they're going to put up out of the studio, but we got Chip's trivia time, and they're going to show some graphic. I don't think we're going to commercial, but
There we go.
nice little graphic for us, Chip.
That's real nice.
Dig right in.
Dig right in. So you know what? I always like to try to make my my trivia for the week relevant to what's going on in the sports world right now. And what's going on in the sports world right now, I know it'll be ridiculed by some. I think an achievement we're in the process of witnessing right now that I don't think we'll ever see happen again in our lifetimes. And I'm talking about the University of Connecticut women's basketball team. Last night, they had their 100th consecutive win.
Wow.
The last time they lost was to Stanford, and I believe it was in November of 2014.
I remember that.
And had they not lost that game, this winning streak would right now be at 148 games. So, it's absolutely
In any
amazing.
league, that's an amazing statistic, 100 consecutive wins.
Well, I don't care if,
Even Tiddlywinks at Smoking
women's
Jim's.
basketball, men's basketball, college, professional, however you want to slice it. It's an amazing accomplishment. And, like we saw John Wooden's UCLA Bruins win 88 games back in the early 70s, and they won 7 consecutive NCAA titles. Well, John Wooden won 10 NCAA titles in his career. And, you look at the coach for University of Connecticut, Gino Auriemma, and if I'm going to devote my trivia segment tonight to some of his accomplishments that he's gotten already, and his coaching career is nowhere near over. But Gino has been coach at the University of Connecticut. His head coaching record is 978 wins and 134 losses.
He'll get 1,000.
That is a winning percentage of 87.9. Let's just say 88%. That is just
That's pretty phenomenal.
absolutely,
That's a gateway type.
absolutely phenomenal.
First
Now,
gateway.
just to go over his list of accomplishments, I was going over this with Alan earlier. He has won more national championships than any coach in the history of the NCAA. That's men's, women's, whatever have you. He has won 11 women's Division I basketball championships to date. His team right now is the 4-time defending national champion, and they are undefeated this year. I would be willing to go out on a limb as far as saying I see a 5-time champion coming up there this spring.
Mm-hmm.
So they've won 11 NCAA Division I championships. He has won 22 conference regular season championships.
Wow. 22.
And of those 22 regular season championships, he won 21 conference tournament championships, which is just
Phenomenal.
completely, unheard of. His awards that he's accumulated so far in his career. He's won 7 Naismith Coach of the Year awards, 6 times the WBCA National Coach of the Year, 8 times AP Coach of the Year, 5 times the USBWA Women's National Coach of the Year, 10 times Big East Coach of the Year, 3 times the American Athletic Conference Coach of the Year, and that conference has only been in existence for 3 years. He won the John Wooden Legends of Coaching Award. He's a member of the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame.
Whoa.
And he's a Basketball Hall of Fame inductee in 2006.
And you stop there.
Can I stop there? I would, but I wouldn't have his resume complete. Not only did he coached the United States basketball team in the Olympic Games, in the 2000 Sydney Olympics, the 2012 London Olympics, and the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics, coached the FIBA World Championship 2010 in the Czech Republic, 2014 in Turkey, in the FIBA Under-19 World Championship in 2001 with the Czech Republic. So the record just stands for itself, and I could go on and on describing some of his accomplishments, but when you look at what his record has been, I believe that since 1993, I believe he has lost 16 games
Wow.
Since 93.
since 93.
Wow.
That is
Just that alone's
just an
awesome.
amazing, amazing record.
No, I think I'd like to see. It got to be more than that. You got 180 something losses, don't you? 100 losses.
He lost a bunch before then.
Well, you know what? He started out his coaching career losing 15, losing 13, losing 11. But since
since
93, he lost 3, 7, 8, 11. 20. Okay, it's a bit more than that. He's probably okay. So since '93, he's lost up just about 30 games. 30 games, and he's won over 600.
That's amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. I would
20
say
to 1 ratio.
he is the absolute best women's basketball coach.
And
in
I
the
thought
United
they were
States.
rebuilding this year. They've
Yeah.
had freshmen step up as sophomores
That's
who are
amazing.
leaders now.
Yeah.
Well, and
I mean,
here's
it's amazing.
Here is the reason why I think this happens in the women's basketball, as opposed to you don't see dynasties like this in men's basketball.
Be careful.
And I'm going to go right out on a limb. It is because of coaches like Calipari, who bring people in for one and done. Most of the women that are going to college to play basketball are going to college to get their degree first and play basketball second.
Social work.
Because their careers, where they're going to make the bulk of their money in their adult lives, is not going to be playing professional basketball. It's going to be in their professional
If
careers.
you thought this through,
I thought about it.
Okay.
I thought about
Look,
it.
Jim, I got to interrupt Chip a second. We had a guest, Ashley Battle, who was
Yeah,
a star
yeah.
at UNC and went to school 4 years there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
Well,
I
you know,
interviewed 2 years ago. I interviewed Swin Cash, and Swin Cash was one of the pioneers there.
Yeah, she
great
played
player.
for Gino, won a couple of national championships with him.
and played about 20 years in it.
WNBA.
Played both of them.
WNBA,
Both of them played
yes.
in the WNBA. I think they go there to play in the WNBA.
I would beg to differ. I don't see that as being the Cash Collins.
Smoking Jim just said
Just in
some of
this
these
past draft, the first 3 players drafted was in the
UConn.
WNBA draft was from UConn. I think they go there for that.
I think
It
the
just works
program.
out that way,
I think
so.
the program develops players to the best of their ability and their talent. And the reason why they're able to do that is because they're there for 4 years and they get a chance to mature and learn how to play the game.
If you build it, they will come. Who would ever thought that you could get black players to go to Connecticut? If you build it, they'll come.
Smoking Jim, that's one of the most profound statements.
And
you've
what
ever
that
made.
had to do with anything I was talking about
It has nothing to
has
do
got
with
me grasping. But okay, but
There,
no,
Chip,
you know-
let me explain it to you. It has nothing to do with what
Okay.
you were talking about.
No, but I seriously think that one of the things that took kind of the joy out of college basketball for me in a lot of ways was these players that come in and they play for
Like
a year,
Smoking Jim's Heroes,
and then
one and done.
and then they're gone. They go to the pros. Now why they have to go and play a year of college basketball, I don't know. Are they not men enough to be able to play in the NBA? There are some
They need a little season.
very successful players that went straight from high school into the NBA. You look at Moses
You
Malone.
wouldn't say that if we had an NBA team here.
I'd like an NBA team here.
The only problem is I don't think we have a strong enough fan base to support one.
Jessica Lee said we do, and I agree with her.
One of the key things is we never had an NBA team. And we're all front runners with things in Pittsburgh. You got to have the best. You got to be with the best. So some of that logic does make sense, and there is some people pursuing this and talking about it with an NBA possible team.
I don't see how you're going to, with the prices that they charge for an NBA basketball game, how you're going to be able to fill, and that obviously would have to be at the paint can.
PPG Paints.
Yeah, I just don't see it because even when we have the NCAA basketball tournament here, those games aren't sold out.
Pitt don't have any trouble selling out. Peterson. Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, the
have no
Petersons
trouble.
have got 1/3 of the seats that
12,000. I see it sell 12,000.
they don't. They do. They have not sold out there recently.
Well, you can't get a ticket. That zoo's filled up over there.
Yeah, and they're 3-9 in the ACC
I mean, you
right
might
now.
get a ticket this year, but I mean
Well-
over the last.
Hold it, they're playing tonight as we speak.
Yes, they are. They're playing Virginia
Just like the
Tech.
Penguins are playing. Go Pens.
But my acknowledgement to Gino Auriemma and what he has done at the University of Connecticut. And
there's
Great
been no-
trivia.
There's
Great
been no
trivia.
scandal, locker room scandal.
there's been no
Why don't you
scandal. There's been nothing to taint that program. Unlike Jim Calhoun's program, who won 3 national championships under questionable circumstances. But no, he hasn't been tainted by any scandals. And I want to see him keep on rolling. I think a lot of people say, "Oh, he's ruining college basketball." Hey, you know what? The other teams get better. The only way they're going to get better, they're going to be able to compete is they got to get better. I don't think that
Well, they
Connecticut
already-
needs to back off at all.
They went through 7 teams in the top 20
Yeah.
to do this.
Oh, they
So, I mean, they haven't ran away from anybody or had,
Well,
like
up
Pitt
until
does, Little
last night.
Sisters of the Poor.
up until last night, the average winning margin for this 100-game winning was 38 points. Now, last night they only beat number 6 ranked South Carolina by 11, but they still, Dawn Staley, I believe, she played in the WNBA.
Yeah.
She was an amazing college basketball player, but she's the head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, and that's who they played last night.
Well, I think early in the year, the first game of the season or something, they played Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame was favored to beat them. I believe it was Notre Dame, and they blew them out. I mean, that's just amazing. with, like you said, no bunch of no names, people you
They
hadn't
got
heard
some
of
skills.
yet.
They had freshmen that now they're star players.
Yeah.
It's rare that
I think
happens.
it has to be coaching.
They coach them up.
They coach him up. There's no question about that.
Look at all the awards he has.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
25-0 this year. They're just it's just amazing what's going on. And if you haven't paid attention to it yet, you should, because I don't think you're going to see another streak like
You
this.
just heard it
in
here
your
on
lifetime.
VPTV, Pittsburgh Sportsline from Chip.
My dad is a basketball fanatic, and he prefers the women's game. I mean, that's pretty much all
I know
he
where you
watches.
get
Well,
it from.
and you want to know why? In the women's
can't hide
game, you know,
that.
the true essence of
You
the
cannot
game.
hide that.
And ball movement,
Yeah,
defense,
exactly. That's
and
why
you
he
know
likes it.
that's why
Exactly.
you know, because you're playing set offenses. You know, there's too much. Well, there's the players are so athletically gifted in the men's place, and in the NBA they can jump from half court and dunk. You know, but
Or miss the dunk.
but no, it.
And tell us, Smoking
the
Jim, why
women's
you
game.
watch the ladies' basketball. No, never mind. Well, at least your dad does. I give him a lot of credit there.
Hey, look at it.
Thanks, Chip.
Look over his record and achievements there, just to kind of.
Don't make him read.
A lot of reading there, man. Amazing.
Just pass it back. Don't tease Chip.
Fastest coach
Thanks,
to
Chip.
800.
Yep.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it.
I mean, just look at all that. It's staggering.
Unbelievable. Those are some great trivia records for the show. We appreciate it.
I'm on my way to New Ken tonight, where they had another great hooper out there, B.B. Flannery. Remember him?
Yeah.
I won't
we talked to him.
I won't be going out there to see him, but I'm going out probably past his house. But
Are you? Who are you going to see?
I got to see somebody.
What's her name? What's her name on Valentine's Day? Smoking Jim's looking for some photos with sweeties. Look at how he's dressed up. Look how clean he is. All right, we're going to get a graphic. I'm hoping we can get a graphic out of the control room with on location with Al Levine, the talking machine. So don't get up and leave or anything, but we got on location coming up. Hopefully right now. Coming up, Fairway Grill next Monday night. Got some people interested in coming. Got a full list of guests, maybe even a couple. Mike Draculich informed me that Nelly scored like 50 points
The
Friday
game we
night.
missed.
The game you didn't pick me up. You forgot to pick
I
me up.
forgot. I forgot it was Friday.
Yeah. And he said it was safe out there. So we'll see if he can get Nelly for our show,
That'd be great.
plus our other guests. But we'll be out there. They got mac and cheese. Smoking Jim and I get that sausage and pepperoni mac and cheese.
that's good.
They got it on special, and they have drink specials. Nice location. Looks out over where they hit the golf balls. So it's artificial
It's a
driving range.
There
right.
you go.
And they drive the balls right from the driving range below us. Smoking Jim will have to have you on film hitting a ball.
Yeah, I've been dry training.
Oh, I want to see you swing and miss. I want to see you whiff bad.
You think I would miss that?
Oh, I guarantee it. I put money on that.
Well, come on out. Come out next Monday night.
Give Macaroni Tony and give me odds.
Macaroni Tony owes Smoking Jim now, so I don't know if he'll see him. But we'll be on location next Monday, Fairway Grill, 7:30 to 8:30. Come on out, check it out. We'll see if Smoking Jim can hit a ball.
I'll have your driving contest. We'll see who can hit it further.
Forget he got all that power. It's not going into that club. So forget about it. We'll have to see what happens. Maybe we'll have a competition there. We'll have Jeff Ellis, the golfer, and see what he says. I'm sure he has some insights for us. Let me see. I got a message from Devin. What the heck's going on here? Well, sorry for the pause. He's got questions for me. What do you think we'll talk about? How about right now, can we take a little bit of a commercial break and talk Penguins. Do you have any graphics for the Penguins? We'll talk Penguins and some other sports when we come back, if that's possible in the control room. Whoop.
Visit the Oliver Miller Homestead, an 18th century reenactment site located just off the Circle on Corrigan Drive in South Park. Self-guided tours are available each Sunday from May 1st until December 8th from 1:30 until 4:30 p.m. with guides in 18th century garb located around the grounds to answer questions and to give information. Your tour will begin in a reproduction bank barn where displays give information on the movement west. You will also see the Miller Still and learn about the production of whiskey and the importance of it and of the Whiskey Rebellion to this area. Follow the Miller Trail up the path and visit the transportation shed, demonstration shed, forge, a reproduction log house, the original spring house, gardens, and finally end at the stone house. Each month, the guides host at least one special event. The homestead is also a great place for tours, tailored to the needs of school-aged children, scout groups, or adults. Visit our website at www.olivermillerhomestead.org for a schedule for the year and much more information on the history of the Miller family, our organization, and pricing information.
One of the things we do at BPTV is encourage our producers to film on location. Not only does shooting on location give our producers the opportunity to take advantage of their subject matter, filming in different locations gives each program its own distinct flavor. This also helps anyone who's flipping through the channels avoid confusion when they turn on BPTV. With around 500 programs produced at BPTV each year, the last thing we want people to think is that we're only broadcasting one program. So, you need to come into BPTV to pitch your TV show, but in terms of where you actually end up taping your show, the sky's the limit.
Hey, thanks for not changing that dial. We appreciate you. And you got to bear with us on some of these features and graphics that we're putting up. We're fine-tuning it. We'll get it a little better next week and the week after. We'll get this stuff down pat. Just hope you enjoy the show. Keep watching us. We're on Tuesday night through Saturday night, 7 o'clock to 8 each night. And I heard we're even on a Monday and a Sunday. So you can see us 7 days a week. So we'll get this thing tuned. Oh, I got to make sure I'm on the right camera here. One of our cameras died. Thanks, Devin Shea. I'll look back at this. So we're going to talk a little Penguins. They're playing tonight. I heard it's 0-0. Chip just told me.
0-0 at the end of the first period. We got the Vancouver Canucks here in town. And I believe this may be Gino's first game back from injury. And, you know, the Penguins right now at this point of the season, you know, they're not fighting for a playoff spot. They're tied for second place. There's a three-way tie for second place between the Penguins, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the New York Rangers, all tied at 75 points, trailing the Washington Capitals. But, you know, last year, just remember one thing. The Washington Capitals won the President's Trophy last year. And for those of us that don't know much about the game, Jim, the President's Trophy is the team that has the best record for the season. But generally what happens, the team that wins the President's Trophy doesn't very often win the Stanley Cup. So if you have a choice of winning one or the other, the Cup's going to be the one that you want to take home. But I think what the Penguins need to focus their energies on now is getting the team healthy to make a run in the playoffs, because we've had quite a number of players out injured on a regular basis. And you know,
I'm glad Malkin's back from that
you know,
lower body
Malkin's
injury.
back. Rust is
Because
out.
you never know what they've hurt. He's had the lower body injury for a couple
lower body,
weeks.
upper body, you know, so
Letang's
somewhere
back.
between the top of his head and the bottom of his feet, he has an injury, so he's recovered from that. But there are other players that are injured,
Sure.
and now then there's the question of what will the Penguins do with Marc-Andre Fleury? Now,
What, about 8 days to go for the trading deadline?
you know, I unfortunately I think that Marc-Andre is going to ultimately end up going, and here's the reason why. You know, when at the end of the year, there is going to be an expansion draft in the NHL, okay? And every team is allowed to protect one goaltender. Now,
Who are they
you
gonna
know,
protect?
now, who are they going to protect? You know, now, and if that's the case, and you know you're going to protect Murray, and you're going to leave Fleury unprotected, why not trade him now where you can get some value for him and get something for him, as opposed to getting nothing for him? So, you know, it's the business of professional sports is what it's boiling down to. And you got Murray who's making $3 million a year, and Fleury who's making between $5.5 and $6 million a year.
He deserves it.
You know, and you know he's been a great hockey player, a great ambassador for the game here in Pittsburgh.
What a
But,
great
you know,
team player going through all this controversy
But
right
you know,
now,
I
too.
mean, you know, in professional sports,
Right.
it's a game for young men. You know, guys that you know you can't pay players for what they did. You got to pay players for what they
Fleury's
are
still
doing
young,
for you
isn't it?
now.
Fleury's still young. Don't Vancouver?
He's 30.
Don't Vancouver got a couple 1,000-point scores on their team tonight?
Who?
I think they do. They playing Vancouver tonight?
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they
have-
are.
yeah.
And I,
They
you know,
have
what,
one that has 1,004 and the other has like 790 something.
and Sid has yet
You must have heard wrong.
is still at 998.
He can get it tonight.
Well, he could have got it the last 3 games too, but he didn't. So you know,
You may get that deuce. That'd be nice. What an accomplishment.
but you know, they had a road trip this past weekend, and you know.
The dads went with them.
And the dads went with them, and they played the 2 worst teams in the league, and they came out of it with 3 points where they should have come out of it with 4. Lost 1 game in overtime. They shouldn't have lost either of those games, or even allowed them to end up tied at the end of regulation.
I
But,
don't think that's Bush League. What the dads got to be going for? What's
They're
that all
hanging
about?
out with them.
That's what it's all about.
it's something that the organization does to show their players
Bush
their
League.
appreciation. Yeah,
Bush
okay.
League.
Smoking Jim,
yeah,
you just
yeah.
noticed this? This has been going on for years. This is what I mean, folks. He's an NFL scout, a model scout, Steelers scout. I don't know what else, but he's definitely not an NHL scout.
But you know, and then just you know, we're getting down to the
He's
last
banned from
few
this.
minutes of the show, and we kind of got a little bit of an open forum. But you know, we've got spring training just starting. There's not a whole lot to report. I think one of the most intriguing things to watch over the next 4 to 6 weeks with the Pirates in spring training is the development of the pitching staff and who's ultimately going to end up being the starters. There's probably 12 or 14 starting pitchers that have been invited to camp. You know, there's probably 3 players that have positions nailed down in the starting rotation. I would say Garrett Cole would be your number 1. Jamison Tyon would be your number 2, and Ivan Nova would be your number 3. The number 4 and the number 5 positions, I believe it's going to be wide open. Everybody says that Tyler Glasnow is a can't-miss prospect, and here's the only thing that makes me concerned about that. I have never seen a can't-miss pitching prospect. You know, a guy can tear up the minor leagues, AAA, and never amount to anything in the majors. And so he's got all the talent in the world. He's got the arm. Now he needs to learn what does he have to do to stay in the major leagues. Getting here is one thing.
And they got to stay healthy, too.
Staying
a lot of
is
injuries.
well, that's what
lot of injuries.
that's one of the things that Tyon learned last year, that Garrett Cole has learned in his first couple of years, is how to condition your body to be able to make it through a 162 game schedule, because that is what the real challenge
they're
is.
pitching maybe 30 games, 32.
Generally, if you don't miss a start, you would pitch 32 games in a 5-man rotation.
Yeah, because Garrett Cole has to learn how to pace himself so that he be fresh when he moves on to New York or L.A. But how much pouting do you think will happen in the outfield training camp?
None. None. Because you know what? You've got the same players playing the outfield. You just have them playing different positions. And I think that they're professionals and they understand what their roles are. And you know what? You treated them as men. You sat them down. You discussed with them what the strategies were, and they bought into it. So there's nothing for anybody to pout about.
And if this was the NFL, they'd be wide receivers and they'd be divas. That outfield's a bunch of divas, and they'll be pouting.
Smoking Jim Frazier, your insights in NFL do not help at all with the MLB.
And it does.
It's so off the mark here that we have to ignore some of that. Sorry, Smoking Jim's fans, but just ignore that last statement. It's like in the court when they're taking the records. Ignore that.
It's not based in fact.
Yeah. We don't know what it's. No, I'm not going to even ask him.
No, I think actually the movement of the outfield is going to make our outfield stronger. Because I'd be honest with you, I think McCutchen is better coming in at a ball than he is going back out. And since it's only 320 feet to the wall in right field, that there's not going to be any ball that's hit over his head. It's going to go one of two places. It's either going to go into seats or it's going to bounce off the wall. He's not going to have to chase it down. So learning how to play the ball off the wall. So, you know, you're not worried about a ball getting over your head as you are being able to get the ones in front of you.
They have a heck of an arm in right field. I'd have left Polanco in right field.
Well, what Smoking Jim missed last year is they had McCutchen play up a lot in center field, and that's why he misplayed a lot of balls. He was playing up closer.
And I want to explain something to Jim.
You missed that badly.
Jim, to the base of the right field wall from home plate is 320 feet. Okay? The notch in left field, that's 409 feet. Okay, do you see the difference in the numbers there? Okay, it's 390 feet to the left field wall, and it's 407 feet out to center field. So you're going to have him play in the shorter part of the field where his arm strength is going to be less of a factor than in the deeper part of the field.
Give me Roberto Clemente or Al Parker.
Clemente,
Dave Parker.
Well, you can't.
Out there in right field. Polanco's the closest thing to him. I like that in right field.
I think Polanco's going to do just fine in left field. I think he's going to do just fine.
Yes. And that's the insights from Smoking Jim on baseball. We'll look forward to more of these that are so off the wall that we can't keep track of them. Just keep them coming. Look at that smile he got. It's magic. Hey, thanks for the great show, guys. Appreciate you, Smoking Jim Frazier and Chip Hayner. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Thank you very much for watching our show. We appreciate it. We'll be on again next week. Check us out, Fairway Grill, next Monday night on location. And I want you to stay Joey strong.
Hi Bethel Park, remember me? My name is Jason Planitzer. I was the host of a little show here. You may have seen it. It was called The Jason Planitzer Show.
What would you say your experience at BPTV, how has that had an impact on your life?
I found my voice. I learned how to be funny. I learned how to create things. I learned how to collaborate with people here. I developed an interest in film and comedy and making videos. It stuck with me. It continued through my life. I got into working on motion pictures. I now I'll produce small videos. I'll work with producers on commercials, television projects, feature films. I scout locations on TV shows and movies, which involves me reading scripts, finding the locations that need to be shot, and collaborating with the director and production designer to find the perfect spot. It all started at BPTV for me.